Today's episode is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me for real love and real life. Whether you need the perfect card to celebrate love, apologize, or say what's on your heart, Sincerely Shalia has you covered. So skip the generic and say it your way. Check out my full collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find the card that speaks for you. I can't wait till you guys check them out, and don't forget to let me know what you think. I love you guys. Hello and welcome to the Love This Way podcast, the show that exists to help men and women everywhere to be better at love. Never any gender wars or back and forth, just great tips to help you find and sustain the love of your dreams. Because love is a journey, but you still need direction. So I want you to grab your tribe and get ready, because each episode we're going to be talking about our real life issues, answering tough questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal, learn, and grow. I'm your host, your girl, Dr. Shalia Vinny, and today I have a question. Who benefits when you doubt yourself? Hey, my babies. Welcome back to another episode of Love This Way. Hey, let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly. Have you ever noticed that you didn't always doubt yourself? There was a version of you who decided quickly, who trusted their instincts, who didn't need permission to feel how they felt. And then something shifted. You started second guessing, explaining yourself more, asking, am I overreacting? Maybe I am being too sensitive. Maybe I'm the problem. And today I want to ask the question most people never think to ask. Who benefits when you doubt yourself? Because self-doubt isn't always an internal flaw. Sometimes it's the result of a relationship dynamic that quickly took your power. I want to talk about how self-doubt is created and not born. Self-doubt rarely starts out of nowhere. It usually begins in relationship. It starts when someone responds to your clarity with correction. When your certainty is met with, you're overthinking. That's not what happened. You're reading too much into this. Why do you always make things complicated? And at first it feels small, like feedback, like help. But over time, something changes. You stop trusting your initial reaction. You replay conversations to see where you went wrong. You start checking in with someone else before trusting yourself. And self-doubt is often learned through repetition, not truth. So if every time you express a feeling, it gets minimized, if every time you name a concern, it gets reframed, if every time you assert yourself, it's questioned, eventually your brain learns my instincts are not reliable. And once that belief sets in, you become easier to guide, correct, and control. Let's go deeper, because I want to talk about the power dynamic that nobody talks about. Confusion is not neutral. Confusion creates dependency, and dependency creates power. When you don't trust yourself, you ask more questions, you seek more reassurance, you hesitate before setting boundaries, you defer to someone else's version of reality. And here's the part that people miss. Most people who benefit from your self-doubt don't look evil. They look confident, certain, like they're just trying to help. They benefit because your uncertainty makes their authority feel necessary. Your hesitation makes their confidence feel superior. Your silence keeps the peace on their terms. So instead of saying, I need you smaller, they say, you're misremembering. That's not what I meant. You're too emotional. You always do this. And slowly, without realizing it, you hand over your inner compass. Here's the truth. Anyone who needs you unsure to feel secure is not invested in your clarity. They're invested in control. And I want to be clear, because this is not about demonizing people, but people who create these dynamics often feel threatened by confident partners. They need to feel needed to feel powerful. They're uncomfortable with autonomy and independence. They confuse closeness with control. So instead of asking for reassurance directly, they destabilize yours. And then the result is you become someone who explains instead of expresses, who doubts instead of decides, who shrinks instead of stands firm. But here's the reclamation. The moment you start trusting yourself again, the dynamic will change, because clarity removes leverage, and self-trust removes dependency, and certainty disrupts control. Hey friend, If you're tired of those generic, impersonal greeting cards, I've got you covered. Sincerely Shalia is my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me to help you say what's really on your heart. Whether it's love, apologies, or just because, these cards speak for you. Skip the cookie cutter messages and send something real. Check out my collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find your perfect card today. I really want you to take a moment and be honest with yourself and ask yourself this question. When did I stop trusting myself? Who was present when that shift happened? What parts of me were discouraged, questioned, or corrected? Because your self trust isn't arrogance, it's alignment, and the right people won't need you confused to stay connected. But the good news about this whole thing is that if self doubt is learned, it can be unlearned. And taking yourself back doesn't happen through confrontation, it's going to have to happen through reconnection. So I want to tell you how to start. You've got to track where self doubt enters. Pay attention to when you start questioning yourself. Is it after certain conversations, around certain people, after you express a need or boundary? Self doubt is not random, it has an entry point. And once you identify where it begins, you stop blaming yourself for feeling it. Number two, you've got to stop explaining what you know. One of the first signs you've lost self trust is over explaining. You explain your feelings, your decisions, your boundaries, but clarity doesn't need justification. The moment you stop narrating your inner world for approval, you began reclaiming authority over it. You don't owe explanations to people who benefit from your confusion. Number three, you've got to rebuild trust through small decisions. You don't restore self-trust by making one big declaration. You restore it by honoring your first instinct, saying no without apologizing, acting on what feels aligned even when it's uncomfortable. Every time you follow your knowing, you teach your nervous system that it's safe to trust yourself again. Number four, I want you to notice who respects your certainty. Watch how people respond when you stop second guessing. Healthy people are going to adjust. Unsafe people are going to resist. That reaction tells you everything you need to know, because anyone who feels connected to you when you're unsure was never connected to the real you in the first place. And last but not least, number five, let God be the loudest voice again. Before you were confused by people, you were grounded in truth. Recentering spiritually will help you remember who you are, what you value, what you don't need permission to know. Self-trust isn't ego. It's alignment with how you were designed. And when God becomes your reference point again, other voices have to lose their power. Can I leave you with this today? And I hope you take it with you. If someone is uncomfortable with your clarity, it's because confusion gave them an advantage. Real love doesn't need you unsure. Healthy connection doesn't require self-doubt. And emotional safety will never ask you to abandon your instincts. You weren't born doubting yourself. You were taught to. And what was taught can be unlearned. So the next time you feel yourself questioning what you know, pause and ask the question that changes everything. Who benefits if I don't trust myself right now? Because the moment you reclaim your self-trust is the moment someone else loses power over you. And that is where the real healing begins. Now, if you need more help, you know you can always go to shaliavinny.com, book a one-on-one session with me. I'm here with you to work through it and hash it out together. I love you guys. I'm going to see you on the next episode, okay? Today's show is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my greeting card line. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform, share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and then ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. Don't you ever let it rest. To your good is better, and your better is best. Until next time, your friend, motivator, and relationship strategist, Dr. Shalia. Bye.